today and of the Alfresco summit. There are a lot of people for in the last presentation. And we don't use the free beer.
Free beer.
Free and good beer.
Shut the door now.
I said before that the beer can get back to Spain. The beer here, I will not get back to Spain. So we'll talk. Estrella Galicia. It's a company from Spain. But the main point is, in my 15 years working in IT, there is nothing more valuable to me than the time of my co-workers, the time of my managers, the time of the managers of the companies that are our customers. The time is very important for me. In fact, I don't like to talk to a customer, to a friend, and I don't like to negotiate prices with them if they don't are happy. If they are not happy, it's difficult. And in fact, in this case, we trade with a software that is very, very tied to a very physical process. In IT, it's very common that work with zeros and ones and a lot of software that is on a screen. But this Alfresco integration, this case, is about moving machines, it's about taking us this beer, because the solution allows Estrella Galicia to grow a lot, to expand her industry. It's very important to us to work with them. The case that we will be talking about is related to nothing happy, nothing cool. It's about account payables, the paying of invoices, receiving invoices, a lot of hard process that are not or easy and are not friendly. But talking to this case, the mobile workforce is very helpful for us, because the information technologies, the information users on most companies are every day using more and more her mobiles, her tablets, and her devices to work on a daily tasks and with the common tasks daily they have to do. In fact, is data by Gartner, the 60% of the mobile worker of the users of the information technology will be using devices for her tasks, for her daily tasks in a mobile one. So it's a lot of people that would be using the mobile. We must do something to help them work easily and work effectively. In account payables problem, there are a lot of pains, but the main ones are the operational ones, the operational problems related to the paper, to the tedious process of approval, reject the invoices, and a lot of mechanisms, a lot of tasks that must be very repetitive, very tedious to do. These tasks could lead to a potential crisis in the managers. It's not something that we would like to happen. The other side is the environmental way. The environmental, it's a side that allows us to, as we reduce the use of paper, we contribute something, and I like to contribute. It's something that we like a lot. Every invoice is obtaining not only by the paper in the tree, because there is not much paper in a tree to make an invoice, but the cost of the CO2 to the trucks that transport the papers, and there are a lot of problems around the paper itself. And this is a process that if we eliminate the paper-based one and we make it more electronic, we would help a lot. We will help to avoid the deforestation of the trees and the environmental in total. And the most important of the reasons is the economical ones. Because I can talk about environmental, I can talk about operational, but the manager wants to see the numbers, ROE, nothing more. In the economic side, we have an advantage too, because the cost of management a paper invoice is very high compared to the electronic invoice. The electronic invoice can save us a lot of money. It's an investment that it's easily and rapidly becoming in our favor. 62% is the difference between a paper and an electronic invoice. It's a high volume of money. It's a high factor in where we can save more money. Well, I show you the the main pains, the very introduction. I would like to show you who is who in this game. In this game, Estrella Galicia is a brewery based on Spain that starts to internationalization right about 5 or 10 years ago. It's relatively younger, like us. It produces about 300 million liters of beer every year. And in fact, the beer that you can taste here is the world best beer in 2013 in the challenge that made last year here in London. Is the one that you can taste here. And Queres Tecnologías is a very more little company. We are 16 people working also in Spain. And we have a very background in Alfresco. We are working with Alfresco since 2006. First partners in Spain. We only work with Alfresco. We are very specialized. We know it. We know Alfresco. And we work with Alfresco since the beginning. Our company is full of certified engineers, certified administrators. And the project and the case that I will show you today is the best Alfresco project for 2012 for all EMEA 2 years ago. So I think it's a good sample of how can we do or how can we use Alfresco to solve real problems, to solve a common problem like the control variables. When we started this project, we set a goals. We set a goals on the long and the short term. As you will see later, we started with this project in 2007, a lot of years ago. But we started to making a consultancy, comparing SharePoint, comparing Alfresco, comparing Nuxio, a lot of ECMs in the market. We choose to start with Alfresco because we only need one repository. In a lot of companies that we see, they have a lot of different repositories. They have one shared drive here, emails. It's not a repository, but they use it as a repository. And maybe in the big companies, we see that they have FileNet, Alfresco, Documentum, SharePoint at the same time. It's crazy. Because of that, we need to implement only one repository. It's critical. Only one repository, and the repository must be open source. Is our option. We need to improve the process. It's important that the document management system allows us to make workflows and make good workflows. And this is one of the pains that we solve with this solution. And we need to satisfy all departments. We started to work with economical finance. But then we go to the sales, marketing, and all of the departments of the company. It's not an economic and financial pain. It's a financial one, but the repository must be used for a lot more things. We need to reuse the investment of the company in Alfresco and in Queres in all of the departments. And what is the solution? Well, the solution, in fact, this is a brief resume of the of the account payables process. It has a lot of components, but it's very simple. No, it's not something that may be scary. We have a simple workflow where the user can register the invoices, where the scanning can introduce automatic the invoices using FSOF2, and we can check manually or automatically the metadata stored in the invoices. We, in fact, integrate Alfresco with the ERP. So when an invoice enters in the system, it's easy for an accountant approve an invoice because he has data. He has the same data in Alfresco that in the ERP. So it's common sense. The ERP integration is one of the first that we do in the solution, and it allows the company to see the global data. They can use the ERP to search invoices, but they don't use it. They go to Alfresco, use the invoices, preview it. They don't need to download anything. They don't need to know about using the ERP. The ERP interfaces in the most cases are a nightmare. I don't know it. So the interface for looking for invoices in Alfresco and another document is very easy. So it makes sense. In fact, they use it. They use it to look for invoices. They use it more Alfresco as a document management system as the versus the ERP. They don't use the ERP to search for invoices. They use the Alfresco. It works. As I said before, we started in 2007. We are evolving the product a lot, and since the beginning, in 2007, the customization you can have to Alfresco are not so easy like these days. In fact, we make extension for Alfresco Explorer. Maybe you don't know about this interface. This interface is from 8 years ago. It's from a long time, but it's the interface that we have in these days. We personalize, we customize this interface to show information about invoices, because an accountant and a user don't like to see the path, where is the file, or the size of the file. They don't care. An accountant needs to see what's the import of the invoice, where is the invoice data, the invoice date, and all of the data that apports and have a common sense for a person who trades with an invoice document. Also, in 2007, there are no reports inside Alfresco, so we made it. We made a lot of reports with Jasper. You could export it to PDF. You could export it to XLS and CSV, and a lot of formats more. And you can see that the interface than a user used it in Alfresco a couple of years ago. This is to show you also that why we need to improve this interface using a mobile one. Because this interface is easy to use, but not as easy as I would like. It's easy. It has only 5, 6, 3 metadata fields, and an interface that you can make the signature of the invoice directly from the invoice name. You can do a lot of things from this screen. In fact, you will not need any more. But with this, we only help the accountant management. The accountant people was happy with this. They don't like anymore. They were happy. But we need something more. We need to help too another actors on the system. So we developed a specific interface. The specific interface that I will show you is we have another new interface, but this is the one that they use in 2010. This is a specific interface to manage the invoices, to register the data, to make reports, and to make all of this. This show that Alfresco as a repository is the core, but you can access it from many ways, modifying the Alfresco interfaces, or creating a custom interface on, this is developed on Adobe Air. On Adobe Air, or as we say before, in another Word application developed in Tomcat using Spring. This allows some people on the company to make faster search, to use better her time, and to make the data in the right place. This interface, in the first place, we created it to the IT managers. The IT department needs a tool to review the data. As I said, they are very used to use the access to the database, and when they ask me, please, could you give me access to the database of Alfresco? I say, no, you're crazy. I don't do. If you do that, I will not be your provider, because the access to the database on Alfresco is for champions. And so we developed this interface. With this interface, the IT guys are happy again. So we have more people happy in the company, but we need more people happy in the company. And the next people happy are us, the providers. The providers need to send invoices to Estrella Galicia in this case. And we need to track where is our invoice. We need to know if the invoice is paid, if the invoice is delayed, what happens with our invoice. So we create this interface where any provider of Estrella Galicia can send invoices, can make the signature of the invoices. In Spain, it's not enough to send an invoice from one point to another. They must be digitally signed with digital certificates on a card, on a physical device. In other countries, it's not the same, but in Spain, this is the law tells us this must be here, must be this. So this interface allows a provider to search for invoices and to know the status of of their invoices. This interface also allows a user to make manual an invoice simply by putting the dates. You don't need to upload a PDF to the application. The application signature the invoice and then incorporate to Alfresco. You can in fact do the invoice in the software. This is not the most common usage. They usually use the upload of PDF, but it's another option. Well, we bring the clients closer to the provider, so it's easier. We have we have more people happy on the company, but we need the more important players on a company. We need the managers. The managers are not happy. In fact, the managers are the worst of the full scenario. They manage about 30 invoices per day, because an invoice in Estrella Galicia must be appropriated or generated by 3 or 4 players: the accountant, the person who calls for the service, and another department inside in middle. 3 or 4 persons. So a manager, an accountant manager, it's about 30 invoices every day. It's a lot of time for them and for us. We have this pile of invoices and our invoices here. It would take a lot of time to reach to the top. When a user tries to approve or to manage an invoice, when a manager, not a user, when a manager tries to approve an invoice, it takes about 1 minute using the Alfresco interface, the Alfresco Explorer interface, the interface that I showed you a couple of minutes ago. It opens the computer, opens the browser, go to the Alfresco dashlet, and approves the invoice. 1 minute. And I am sure that they can do better times, they can do better things with 1 minute, because it's 30 minutes. And we can do more. We can take 1 day per month, and 15 days, holidays. The managers will be very, very happy if the company allows it, allows them to do that. So we made the interface for the mobile, for iOS. The iOS application is an application that have in mind the time. We are very specific with this. We need to save the time of the managers. The managers are always out of the office. The common way for a manager work is it goes to the coffee shop at first, take a coffee, read the newspaper, 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, go to the office and work. No time to go to the open the computer. So this is the one thing that a manager needs to do. This is the only that I can do to approve an invoice. 3 seconds, approximately. It depends on the iPhone or the iPad, if it has a lot of space free, if it not have. From 1 minute to 3 seconds is really fast. It only needs to slide, open the application, approve, reject, approve. It's a lot of improvement. It's too much improvement. And it can do it from everywhere. It can do it in the morning with the coffee, in the lounge. It can do every moment of the day. The application is not only to approve. They can review the invoice data inside the application. It takes more than 3 seconds, but it can do it. We wrote the application to allow another workflows in the company. They can manage the hours of her employees. They can manage the receipts. They can manage the holiday days. They can do a lot of things that could be in Alfresco and could not be in Alfresco. They are workflows. Something are in Alfresco and another ones are on another ERPs or another technology. They can do. They can put more information about the rejection of an invoice, and they can see the full workflow for an invoice. That's very important for them. And also, of course, they can preview the invoice. They can preview the full invoice using the iOS preview function by default. And of course, this is good for managers. And if it's good for managers, it's good for providers. It's great. We are all happy. This solution is perfect. Well, to summarize the presentation and my talk, I would like to see that we use only one repository. It's a unique repository. We have specialized interfaces for each actor. We think that it's not the same that we work with a manager than we work with a provider than we work with another actor on the company. They must have custom interfaces for the custom needs, because every person on the company has their own needs. We can use Alfresco Share for collaboration, but when you need to use it on a mobile and when you need to approve invoices, we think that it's better to make a specific interface for the specific problem. And this is one step to the myth of paperless office. We think that it's a lot of effort to get to a paperless office, but we think that this is the first step. It's a very first step. And we improve the business process associated to the invoices, to the accountant payables process, in fact. Well, because this is a project in work since 2007, I show you some numbers. We are working about 300 invoices every day. The invoices came from the EDA. It's a protocol used to the very big companies to transfer electronic information. They came from the scanner, paper invoices, and they came for the provider portal in a 50-50 approximately. We manage with Alfresco 100 workflows per day. It's a lot of workflows, a lot of them. And we don't close 100 every day. The managers have a lot of things to do, and we take months that they are on the system, 13,000 of workflows at the same time, all open and pending from users. 40 approximately of everyday invoices came through FSoft, through the scanning process. Approximately each month we have 20,000 new documents in the repository, and the repository is used finally for a lot of users. They are used by contracts, they are using for scriptures, they are using for legal management, quality documents, and they are growing every day. We use in a couple of days we have marketing documents. It's more easy to insert marketing documents because they have not so many metadata like the invoices or like the contracts that has a high use of the metadata, but they are using it to this kind of works. And as I said before, this was the Alfresco Vet solution for 2012, and nothing more. Thank you very much, and please taste the beer.